Yeah, but I mean, God forgives, so I might as well do it anyway. And Jesus Christ died on the cross for our sins, and I'm saved, right? I'm automatically saved, so I can do it again. I can keep on sinning and sinning and sinning. I mean, and God's slow to anger anyway, so I might as well do it. You know, I was going to start off this video by saying something, but you don't know how mad. There's no words to describe in this video how you're making God mad. I don't think you know how mad you're making. Like, think about this, guys. Jesus Christ died. He died. He's God. Do you understand who God is? You understand that God, compared to us, we're nothing. You know that, right? We're basically nothing. Do you know that God can just sit back and say, all right, I gave y'all my book. I gave y'all my commands. I'm God. So you guys going to hell got nothing to do with me. No, he died because he loves us. Instead, you're taking his mercy. You're saying a big old F you to God, and you're just abusing his mercy? And like, the reason why people think like this, the reason why people think, oh, I could just sin, I could just do whatever I want because God is going to forgive me and God is slow to anger and YOLO, you know, we're in the grace period. No, the reason why you guys think like this is because you guys don't read. You guys don't read. If you guys read the Old Testament, you would be deeply afraid of God. That's the problem. You guys don't fear God. This generation does not fear God. I'm going to provide some examples in the Old Testament that happened to people when they disobeyed God. I will tell you the consequences. So let's start in the Old Testament. Leviticus chapter 10. There was these two priests named Nadab and Abihu. So back in the day, they used to burn incense in the temple of God, as a offering, right? And these guys, these two priests, they actually used the wrong fire. God commanded them to use this type of fire. They used this type of fire. Now, it might not seem like a big deal. Guess what happened to these guys? In this way, they disobeyed the Lord by burning before him the wrong kind of fire, different from the one that he had commanded. So fire blazed forth from the Lord's presence and burned them up, and they died there before the Lord. Now you might say, well, that's a little bit too extreme. I mean, how were they supposed to know? They knew! But they said, God said this, I'm going to do this. God said don't commit adultery, I'm going to do it. God said don't gossip, I'm going to do it. God said don't commit idolatry and be glued to my phone, I'm going to still do it. Guess what happened to these guys? They died. Okay, another example. Numbers 11:31. The Israelites just got out of Egypt with the Pharaoh and the Red Sea. You know the whole story. But after these guys were wandering through the wilderness, they was complaining to God, saying, God, I wish God could just make us go back to Egypt. I mean, we have so much good food. We have so much meat. And now we have no meat. Because, all they had to eat was manna. All they had to eat was the things that the Lord provided them to test them. And they was complaining to God. And God said, all right. God said, all right. All right, bet. You want some meat? I'll give you some meat. So he flew down a bunch of fish. And fish was just flying from the sea to the Israelite camp. The guys were like, oh, fish. Just eating. Guess what? They all died. Okay? Because they was complaining. Because they was being a little wimp. A bitch. Okay? Another example of how God deals with disobedience. Joshua chapter 7. The Israelites now try to fight the Jericho. You know the whole famous story of Jericho and the wall walked around 7 times. He shouted, it went down. So after it went down, God commanded them, do not take any plunder. Do not take anything. Destroy everything. Do not take one single thing or you will suffer the consequences. This is a guy named Achan. Achan said, there's a robe. There's some gold. I'm going to take it, but nobody will know. Guess what? After the Israelites defeated Jericho, they went to another camp, another town, and they lost. They're like, whoa, how did we lose? I thought God was on our side. Somebody must have sinned. So they went around and they finally targeted the family of Achan. Achan said, all right, guys, I'm sorry. I stole the gold. I stole the robe. My bad. Guess what they did? God said, stone him and burn his whole family. Now, you might hear this and be like, damn, well, that's kind of extreme. Well, guys, one thing you have to understand that we are human beings. We're not God. Whatever God says is just. All right? So we have to understand that. But also, I don't want you to think, okay, if I sin, I'm going to die. It's not like that at all. All right? Think about it like this. God is the same God from the Old Testament to today for forever. All right? Think about it like this. God is like, like you're the oldest child, and since your parents are just starting off, right, you're like the test baby. They're kind of hard on you, they're kind of on you all the time, right? Let's say you have a younger brother, and you're like, Mom and Dad, you don't even treat him the same way you used to treat me. You used to go hard on me. Now you're so easy on this kid because he's the youngest, right? That's exactly how it is with God. God, the Israel was like God's firstborn child. God was very hard. You disobey God, you were fucked. But now we live in the grace period where we have more lenience with God. Guys, I'll tell you what, if we lived in the Old Testament, we would be fucked. F-U-C-K-D-E-D. Fucked. But thank God we have Jesus. Thank God God is so merciful. But that doesn't mean abuse His mercy. That doesn't mean say, oh, I'm going to go sin because God forgives. That's how you guys think. You guys need to stop thinking like that. Again, the same God from the Old Testament that dealt with these guys is the same God today. All He's doing is that He's choosing to be lenient with you. But sometimes there's going to be a time you keep testing God. That lenience and that mercy will run out and you will have to suffer the consequences. And I promise you, you do not want to suffer the consequences from the Lord God. Like, you guys don't fear God. You guys don't fear God at all. That's the problem. You guys don't read the Bible. You don't read how God dealt with other people when they disobeyed Him. You don't care. Even Moses, who literally talked to God every single day face to face, he disobeyed God. He couldn't enter the promised land. Nobody. God has no favorites. If you disobey God, He's going to treat you accordingly, right? That's the problem. You guys do not fear God. This generation does not fear God. I mean, like, I feel like the reason why you guys don't even fear God because you never had anything happen. Let me ask you a question. Okay, this is like every single time you gooned or you do that one sin you kept on repeating. Imagine if I told you that every time you did that, God would send some devastating shit. Would you do it? No. But the reason why you do it is because you do it and nothing happens. You do it and you're still alive. You do it and your life is still the same as before. So you say, what I did was bad, but nothing happened, so shit, I'm going to do it again. That's why. The reason why you got, I'll tell you this. Everybody who has been humbled from God can tell you this one thing, and me included. When God humbles you, you understand who God is, and you never commit that sin again. You fear God. You say, God, I remember the last time I did that, and God, you dealt with me accordingly. Never again. But because you guys never had anything bad happen to you, you say, I'm going to do it because, God forgives, but He's not that angry. No, He's pissed off. This whole generation is fucked. And you guys just keep on playing and playing and playing and playing and playing. You guys know what's right or wrong. Just do right. I don't understand. Do you know how much people in the Old Testament would die to be in this generation? You mean you can commit adultery and you won't die? What? What? You keep on committing the same sin. But because you have no consequences from God, because God hasn't humbled you yet, you feel like you could just do it. Guys, I'm going to be real with you. Like real shit. If you do not learn the easy way, which I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to warn you, you will learn the hard way from God. Guys, I'm telling you this from the bottom of my heart. You do not want to learn the hard way from God. I will repeat, you do not want to learn the hard way from God. I'm going to repeat 3 times so you can understand. You do not want to learn the hard way from God. You would wish that you could go back in time when you're watching this video and tell yourself, listen. Because if you keep on doing it and you learn the hard way, I promise you, sometimes you will not recover from that. I'm trying to warn you now. Learn the easy way. Learn now. But you guys won't listen to me, though. You guys will just keep on gooning, keep on sinning, keep on doing this shit, right? Allow this video to change you. Allow this video to at least spark some fear. And allow this video to change you and spark something in your mind. Read the things, the scriptures I just read. Read it for yourself. Read it for yourself. Stop playing with God's mercy. Because when He comes back, it's too late. There's so many people that say, oh yeah, I'll get right with God. I'll get right with God eventually. And then they die. Like, who knows? Like, you might die tomorrow. You might die in a week, in a month, in a year. It doesn't matter. Who knows? We're not God. We don't know the day we die. And there's so much people like you would say, oh yeah, but I'll just get right with God when I'm older. I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm going to enjoy my youth. And then they die. Guess where they're going? To hell. If they just would have just locked in from the get-go, they would have been straight. But no, they died and they went to hell because they thought that they was going to live more life. And people just died unexpectedly. Oh, but that never happened to me. That's what they said. That's what they said. Oh yeah, but that's what they said. Do you understand? No, you don't. So click off the video. But if you do, in conclusion, just obey God, fear God, and just like understand that God is a merciful God. If he sees you genuinely trying, he cares. He loves that. If he sees you, like, you guys, we're not perfect, but guys, that's not an excuse to be a fucking bitch. We're not perfect, but it's not an excuse to be a fucking coward. Say, I'm gonna go sin. I'm not perfect. Shut up. We're not perfect, but we do have somebody who is. Jesus Christ. And God is waiting for you to come to him. Like, if God sees that you're trying, bro, God will bless you so much, bro. If he sees you genuinely trying, suffering, trying, grinding, he will feel so happy. And he will give you the tools and the capabilities to overcome this addiction or to overcome this sin, to overcome the generational curses. He will give you, bro, you could do anything with God. There is not one sin, not one addiction that you cannot break with Jesus Christ. Literally. Anyways, Jesus bless you. Be more like Jesus, and I'm out.